Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. It's a glorious Tuesday. It's a glorious Tuesday, and I just realized something. But that's all right. That's quite all right. So, Joe Biden is running for President of the United States of America. He is running for a second term. Did he earn the second term? Did he really earn a second term? Did he really earn a first term? But this is brought to you by a poll that I'm conducting. So far, 8 people have voted. I'm not signed in, but all 8 people voted no. The poll is very simple. With Biden running in 2024, did he earn a second term? Yes, America is better. No, America is broken. And I'm going to link this Twitter poll down in the description in case you want to vote for it. But I have to play this. I really do have to play this.
Millions. It's clear that the Speaker's bill
As you can see, the White House press secretary is working overtime. So it's the Republicans that are fighting to put out fentanyl on the streets by defunding the Border Patrol. It's the Republicans that are causing crime to be rising with their anti-cop rhetoric. Americans aren't that stupid, John Pierre. Greg Price says it perfect. I can't imagine going to work every day having to degrade myself by saying these things with a straight face. The administration has no shame. Let's go ahead and go to Fox News. Biden vows to finish a job should terrify every American. I don't know if you saw my video from yesterday about Sudan. There's about 16,000 people, 16,000 Americans, I should say, stranded, just like they stranded Americans in Afghanistan. That's right. Joe Biden is the first president in my modern history that has left Americans to defend for themselves in another country. Oh, but yeah, he's quick and easy to get at the government officials. I mean, at least no ambassador has died. But he is leaving Americans stranded, both at home and abroad. I don't think he's visited East Palestine, Ohio. Pete Buttigieg has, but that's only because Trump visited there first, forcing his hand. But yeah, Biden vows to finish the job should terrify every American. President Biden wants to vote for a second term despite bringing us to one crisis after another. I mean, the only crisis really Trump had was COVID. Now, I don't think COVID was handled great by Trump. There's definitely criticisms with Operation Warp Speed. There's definitely issues I have with the Democratic Party and the Republican Party and the lying media just to own Trump so he'd be a one-term president. On Tuesday morning, Joe Biden announces his fourth campaign for president. He claims he's campaigning to finish the job. That sentence should terrify every American by any objective measure. Biden's failed policies and absent leadership have made life worse for Americans since he took office. He spent nearly 50 years living on taxpayers' dime as a career politician. Joe hasn't earned the right to finish the job, and it's laughable for him to claim that he's protecting freedom in his campaign launch video. How can the failed president who wants 87,000 new IRS agents targeting middle-class Americans claim to be for freedom? Now, this is an opinion piece. It is labeled opinion up here, so at least Fox is labeling their articles properly. Not only is he hiring 87,000 new IRS agents, if you Venmo more than $600, you now have to report that as income. Or it's automatically triggered to the feds. I don't know how that works, but I don't know if that actually went through or not. That's something that was floated. How can Americans feel free when they don't feel safe in their own cities? Well, you know, president doesn't really control cities, so I'm not going to give you that one. The voters control their cities. The voters vote for a mayor, vote for a city council to help manage the city on their behalf. Austin, Texas is failing not because of Joe Biden, but because the voters voted for some crappy people back to back that forced Abbott to bring in a DPS. But yeah, I mean, Americans don't feel free when they don't feel safe in their own cities or when they're being told that their children don't even belong to them, as Biden claimed on Monday. Oh yeah, if you have a child, it's not your child, it's our child. It's everyone's child. Every president has to deal with crises on their watch. However, Biden stands apart in that he has directly caused crisis after crisis. For example, our southern border has become an international recognized humanitarian disaster. Cartels are making billions of dollars trafficking human beings and deadly drugs. The fentanyl is the number one killer of Americans ages from 18 to 45. Our story after heartbreaking story illustrates that people are dying in droves. I think more people died from fentanyl than COVID, if I'm getting my facts straight. All told, over 6.3 million illegal immigrants have crossed the border since Biden took office. And those are just the ones we know about. That doesn't account for the thousands of gotaways that have about anywhere between 4 to 10 people in them. This disaster didn't appear out of thin air. Upon taking office, Biden undid countless protections that helped to secure the border during Trump's presidency term. He has refused to support belligerent Border Patrol agents and pushed to end Title 42. Title 42 is to end May 11th, and there's already a caravan on its way to our borders, and we can't refuse them. Don't ask me why we can't refuse them. I think any country has the right to refuse migrant caravans, unless they're doing it through legal means, but apparently the EU and America can't turn away migrants, or illegal migrants, I should say. He has refused this. Oh yeah, I already read that. Just ask migrants themselves, whom have clearly stated on camera that Biden election compelled their journey. Countless of interviews. Meanwhile, our economy is in shambles. Inflation continues to harm American families, trying to make ends meet as banks fail and wages are wiped out by skyrocketing prices. You know what Joe Biden did on day one? I don't know if it's going to say this in this article. It killed the Keystone Pipeline XL. No more gas in America. No more gas in America. No new drill sites. No more anything. I mean, I think there's been a couple or handful of new sites for drilling. But you know what? Know what they did to gas prices? By erasing any futures that oil has in America. Even though it's coming from Canada and it's going to flood the global markets, the thing is, sometimes prices are dictated by supply and demand. If there's a lot of supply, the demand is lower because there's so much supply, prices go down. Oil fuels our industries. It fuels our economy. Higher prices for energy to drive trucks, drive trains, drive planes means that inflation on products are going to cost more. First day in office. Basic goods are more expensive, saving accounts are being drained, and credit card debt is through the roof. I mean, if your savings account wasn't drained during COVID, unless you got a decent paying job, it's definitely slowly being drained. Kind of glad I don't have credit card debt. Actually, that's not true. I do got about $600 in debt in credit card. That's nothing to me, to be honest. I'm going to pay that just Friday when I get paid, but not everybody is blessed as me. I'm also paying off a loan for my land. I'm also paying to build a shed. I'm doing the labor myself, but material ain't cheap. Transportation of said material really ain't cheap because I gotta pay for gas. Let's see, through the roof. And once again, we aren't in a situation by accident. It's all by Biden's designs. Remember, he injected an unnecessary $1.9 trillion into the economy immediately upon taking office, knowing that inflation would come as a result. Now Biden is pushing a $6.9 trillion spending spree on the budget that increases. Spreading spree a budget that includes $4.7 trillion in new expanded taxes. Last thing struggling families need right now is to pay even more for their hard-earned dollars to Biden's hard-luck government and to Ukraine. Hope you all paid your taxes because Zelensky needs to be paid. Biden also systematically wage war on American energy. Okay, they are going to talk about high gas prices under Biden's leadership. All 50 states have recorded their highest average gas price ever. Did not happen by accident. In fact, some of Biden's first acts in office, including the halting of Keystone XL pipeline, issuing a moratorium on new oil and gas permits on federal lands, rejoining the Paris Climate Agreement. Biden's response to his own crisis, selling our strategic petroleum reserves to China, a nation that represents the greatest threat to the underworld stage. Biden created a rainy day and then tried to give our rainy day fund to a communist government that hates us. Oh no, China doesn't hate us. No, China does not hate us. China loves America. You know why China loves America? Because we are idiots. They gave them a ton of money to produce crap. Everything we buy is either made in Taiwan or in China. Or South Korea. That's not by accident. So China loves America because we gave up our production for cheap crap. And that's about 30 to 40 years in the making. I think it was last reported that between 70 or 90% of everything that's sold in the world comes from China. Anything that's manufactured most likely comes from China. American families are paying the price. Oh, when we no longer make stuff, there's only so long that we can last. So we actually prop up China through that trade agreement, through many trade agreements, through companies offshoring their production costs and for cheap labor. It comes to no surprise that Biden's handled the Chinese Communist Party a leg up thanks to part of the diligent work of House Republicans. It's becoming increasingly apparent that Biden and his family are compromised. His son Hunter actively sold political access to Chinese oligarchs based on his father's standing instead of holding China accountable for unleashing the COVID-19 onto the world or aggressively trying to expand its influence on the world stage. I mean, I'm not opposed to China taking over on the world stage. Every country should try to expand its influence on the world stage. It's not unique to China or Russia, EU nations, or South America nations, Africa nations, or the United States or Canada. I think every country should expand its influence. Biden's more focused on taking weekend vacation after weekend vacation. Not everyone, but every front, foreign and domestic, Biden has failed American people. It falls upon Republicans to kick him out of office in 2024. I mean, impeachment would be nice, but it'll go to the Senate, along with recruiting volunteers, opening minority community centers, and filling key lawsuits. Republicans will focus on a few key items to make this victory a reality. I'm going to say something controversial. If Donald J. Trump gets the nominee, I know a lot of people want him back. But if he gets the nominee, whether it's Joe Biden or another Democrat, we're going to have a Democrat in the next election. The winner will go to the Democrats for the White House. If we nominate, or if the Republicans nominate Trump, I don't think Trump can win. Now, I like the guy. I voted for him. And if he gets the nominee, I'll vote for him again. I just don't think he can win. There's too much hate for Donald Trump. A lot of people are going to vote against him, like they did in 2020. And the issue is, what's going to be the mail-in ballots? Are there going to be a open season on mail-in ballots? Because if it's open season on mail-in ballots, regardless who the nominee is, it's going to be a hard battle to defeat the Democrats. Because when they just mail out, they make it way too easy to vote. People are going to go on TikTok saying, I voted for Joe Biden. Do your part. Vote for Joe Biden. Screw those evil Republicans. That's what happened in 2020. And those are legal votes. Keep in mind, those are legal votes. We will continue to embrace early voting and ballot harvesting to beat Democrats at their own game. This is some new GOP that I've been kind of spouting. I don't know if I've been spouting it here on the channel, but when I'm talking to the people at work, this is 2026 winning tactic right here. This is where the new blood, the fresh blood, the people that are just getting into politics blood is going to dominate 2026. I mean, not 2016, but 2026. You pretty much have to play the game, Democrats' game. They're going to play foul. They're going to change the rules to make ballot harvesting illegal because they're losing votes. That's all right. We got to play their game in order for them to close those loopholes. We will continue our success efforts, bringing in minority voters taken for granted by Democrats in their own party. You got to ask yourself, what has the Democratic Party done for you lately? I mean, you can say the same thing about GOP members. What What has Republicans done for you lately? If you're in Texas or Florida or another GOP controlled state, what has the GOP done for you locally? Just an honest question. We will share what Republicans stand for. We're just not against the border crisis, but we're for border security. We're not against Biden's disaster of the economy. We're for lowering taxes and unleashing American energy. America has a lot of energy. Has a lot of energy. And I'm not talking fuel. I'm talking about manpower. We got to get people working again. We got to get people in the trades. We got to get people working again. Sometimes you got to take a lower cut pay. Those people that are fresh out of college or fresh out of high school, you're not going to get the $60,000 a year. You got to work up to that. Or you got to be a doctor or a lawyer. That requires that much because that's the going rate. We're not against divisive woke policies. We're for securing our kids' future in the classrooms, supporting American families, and protecting women's sports. Biden has failed the American people for decades as a senator, vice president, and president. It's time to show him the door. Let's read a couple of these comments. The polls do not matter here. Once Biden runs, every single Democrat will get in line and march in lockstep supporting him. The scary part is that the power at any cost plan of the Democrats, along with the media bias, could actually work. Biden could get reelected. God help us all. Then God help us now is virtually too late. The rigging has already begun. According to this comment, XXOOX, this country will continue to decline if the voters don't vote differently next election. That's the job he needs to finish, turning U.S. into a third world country and allowing his Chinese masters to rule over us. The decline is as in drop off the cliff and what we're approaching. But this one's a good, interesting point. The day Biden says that all children are everybody's kids, I lost it. My children belong to me, my family. They're not the government's or any leader's children. He's frightening. Yeah, I wouldn't want a child near Biden, especially if it's female. Going to do a little sniffy. Then you have failed your children by making fun of wokeness, by allowing human hunting weapons to be sold every day, but not paying enough taxes to education. Without them, we're going into massive debt. What the hell you're talking about? Are you high? You are high, all right. Millie High Rod. No, it seems like education, or at least the public school systems, are failing. We got Mendez here in Austin has been failing year after year. I mean, they got some novel goals. This year, they want to make a D. They want to move from an F to a D. But yeah, I mean, it's a scary thought that Joe Biden's running again. I don't think Biden's earned a second term. I don't really think he earned a first term, but I get it. When you make it too easy to vote and you have the media saying orange man bad, you're going to have people on TikTok saying, screw the orange guy, I'm voting for Joe Biden. You got to ask yourself, is America better now under Joe Biden than it was under Donald Trump? Ask yourself that. With that being said, that is my video. If you want to, you can leave a comment down below if you think Biden has earned the support or a second term. Be curious to know what your counter arguments are. I read a very opinionated piece. I have my opinions on this. And I hope anybody but Joe Biden wins. wins the presidency. Or Harris. Hopefully some common sense person wins the presidency. With that being said, that is my video for today. Of course, leave a comment down below. But most importantly, have yourself a wonderful day, morning, or evening.